And it's been out for like over a week, so it's already like old as news for Ninja because it's like everywhere.
A mile a minute.
Yeah.
You know who else is a mile a minute? The weekly DLC. Welcome back, everybody. I'm one of your hosts, Karosh, joined always by my co-host, Daniel Vargas.
Ligma.
Daniel J.
Sawcon.
And if you're not familiar with what we do, we Ligma Sawcon.
These nuts.
These episodes that we put out for you guys every week on Mondays to podcasting services of your choice. We sit around this table, we talk about usually nerdy stuff.
Yeah, and rich Asian.
James gonna talk about how he's crazy right now. And yeah, we just try to have fun. We hope you have fun with us. This is episode 79.
Woo!
69 plus 10.
Yeah.
Guys, special one.
Real special.
Yeah. So tell me, how you guys been?
I've been good. So,
what have you been up to?
For me, it's awkward to talk about watching shows.
Why?
Because
Stranger Things.
Yeah, exactly.
There's an elephant in the room.
Doesn't exist.
But what'd you watch instead of Stranger Things season 2?
An anime.
Okay.
An anime called Overlord.
I've heard of it.
I've never. Well, can you describe?
They were at
the
Anime
premise?
Expo.
So
It's a new.
let me just start with the way I first heard of it.
Okay.
It
us
was
on this
like
journey.
maybe a few months ago. It was on Facebook. It was like a small clip, and it's a clip of like this female demon,
Okay.
and then it's like a skeleton overlord, and the overlord's like telling her like you're not good enough or whatever, and the girl is like visually like pleasured by being told or whatever.
Okay.
And it's like a
Go
weird
on.
sexual thing or whatever. And it was like
Slow one.
like the scene, and like obviously it made it funny at the same.
Okay.
Like they had a really good. I feel like it was a really good balance of being awkward but like really funny, and you can tell it's like not because of the funniness. It's like doing really well.
Okay.
But I didn't know what show that was. Like I was like, all right, whatever, that's funny. You know, continue with my life. And then I recently resubbed to Crunchyroll.
Okay.
So I was going through it, and it has Overlord with that girl's face, and I'm like, oh shit, that's the one. So I watched the first episode, and the first episode is exactly that scene. Like what ends up happening is, what's fun. Another thing is, a lot of these shows that I'm enjoying are shows that I kind of is my fantasy where they're stuck in a video game forever after like kind of thing.
Because you talked about
simulation.
Sort of
yeah,
online,
exactly. That was another
the
one.
last simulation we were in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is another one.
Okay.
It's a guy like the servers are gonna be shut down. Like the game's officially done. And he's like staying in the game until literally like the server shut down. Like it's doing a countdown. It's about to hit midnight, which is when the server shut down.
Okay.
And the character closes his eyes. Is like, all right, well, I guess as soon as I wake up in the real world, I will go to sleep and then wake up to go to work. And he closes his eyes, and it shows a timer like 12, or it hits like 11:59, then it hits 12, and then it goes back to 0 and starts counting from 1, going up to 2, 3, 4. And he opens his eyes. He's like, "What the hell? I'm still in the game." And the whole time, like everything is NPCs. Like they don't talk. They don't like. He commands them, and they'll do stuff, but they don't say anything back to him. Like it's just like an like actual NPC. And then he opens his eyes. And then that's where that chick demon is at. And she's like, anything wrong, master? And he's like, why the fuck is she talking to me? And then he like asks questions to all the NPCs, and they're all like visually have like facial expressions and stuff. They're replying. Yeah, they're alive. And he's like, what the hell? And it turns out like somehow he stays stuck in the game and it becomes real. And he can never like log back out. He's like trying to like use all the like the in-game stuff, like his console command to like pause and start or do all
Like
this
a
other
dev kit style?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it doesn't. None of it works. Like opening up a menu, like and none of it works because
okay.
it's a real thing or whatever. And he's still the same character he is. And it's funny is he's overpowered. Like he's like max leveled. And in this new area, like everyone is like the max is 40. He's level 100. So like they don't do shit to him.
Okay.
And so at this point, he's just like gauging like how things work in the world. So he's like doing experiments. He's like he'll go in and be like, I like attack me or whatever, and people attack him, nothing happens. He's like, all right, that's cool, and murders them, and then moves on to the next like stronger foe. And then like and then small stories happen. But yeah, I'm watching I'm like season 2 already.
Wow.
Watched fucking
Nice.
over 20 episodes probably.
How many seasons are there? Right
3.
now? Okay, cool.
3.
And
Exciting.
it's to be continued or it's over?
No, it's still continuing 3rd.
Okay,
right now.
cool.
It's like midway to 3. What else? This is where I was talking about. Like I already forgot everything else.
Did you play anything?
Movies.
Oh yeah, Monster Hunter
Oh yeah.
and Destiny. Still haven't gotten the shirt yet.
Are you going for it? I can help.
I'm gonna go for it, but I'm not gonna get the shirt.
You just want to like acquire the ability
400.
to. Oh, you're going for 400.
I'm going for 400. Don't laugh at me.
I want to make a bet with you now.
The tables have turned. No, that 400 is not guaranteed, but I will aim for it. I know it's not guaranteed. Like, there's no way.
There's one thing you cannot do anymore because, like, you will actually not be able. If you start now, you will actually not be able to get.
What is it? Tell me, and I can figure it out.
You can't. Like, the game won't let you.
But can you let me know?
Yeah. So there's this thing that was with the Osiris DLC.
Oh yeah, I already got it.
The Ghost.
No, I'm just kidding. I didn't get that.
So the Ghost Shell, it's like Sagara's Ghost Shell or some shit. What you have to do is you have to go to, once you've done the Osiris DLC, apparently you have to do all the adventures in the area. And when you do that, he opens up the opportunity to get verses of this tablet or something.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do 3 a week, and there's 12. And to get the 3 a week, you have to grind for materials, and you just do like crucible strikes.
Oh, I have that. I just never actually did it.
So you just do generic things, I think, and you get chances of getting pieces to it, and then you get the 3.
And it's a square like emblem.
I think. But then what happens is you get a different gun, and there's 12 guns, and the final one is like a really nice shotgun. But then once you get the 12th one, it's like here's the Ghost Shell.
Yeah.
And if it's 3 a week and it ends August 28th, you can the most you could do is 9. 9
Oh, I see.
So that's what I'm saying.
Okay, so I have enough pieces for more than just one already, but I don't know how that works. If it like if those stack, so I can like
you
return
redeemed
it.
it this week.
Yeah, exactly. So it's probably too late. But I've been collecting a shit ton of them because I have the item already. So every time I do certain things, it's like here's this like piece, here's this piece, here's this, and there's like a blue version and a green version, and I think the blue version's worth more.
Okay,
but
I think you're right.
Again, I didn't fucking even try.
So
that's gone already, I guess.
Just wanted to before you get too far.
Thanks for doing the bet. You know,
a loaded bet. How's Monster Hunter been for you?
You know what, dude? It's the best it's ever been. It's
a hard mission. It's really
it's
difficult.
a great feeling to get beaten to smithereens
And then just getting back up.
Yeah, that's exactly like. So originally my topic wanted to be about the behemoth, and that's what I felt like watching these animes. You know how there's always like that feeling they have to overcome of being weak and not being powerful enough. That's what it feels like right now, like being weak, not being powerful enough to kill this behemoth.
So the behemoth is a crossover thing from Final Fantasy with Monster Hunter, and it's the actual behemoth.
And I didn't realize, but I guess Final Fantasy has Rathalos as a raid boss.
Rathalos is shown in a lot of places right now.
That's really cool.
I don't know. Did you guys see the Smash thing? So the Smash thing, they showed like stages and assist trophies and all this sorts of shit. And they were like, by the way, it showed a great plane, and a Rathalos shows up as an assist trophy as well. It's the first ever to be 2 things. It's an assist trophy as well as like a level boss or like a stage background boss. So like they have it where like Ripley will show up in prior ones as like a background attacking.
The moon.
The moon's another one, but the moon's also an assist trophy where it just rapidly starts coming at the screen.
And an assist trophy is like an item you get. Like
it's like a Pokeball, but like to every brand essentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Rathalos
Nintendogs.
one, the Nintendo.
Get out of here.
The Rathalos makes me think like, will we get the Monster Hunter?
Dang.
Because I think it could do well because you'd be like, all right, up B will be like a long sword strike, down B will be like a great sword strike, range. It'll be like Snake, essentially.
Oh yeah, he could switch different weapons. Like
Forward attack
would be like a
smash,
special
hammer.
Dung bomb.
Yeah, holy shit, dude.
Dude,
that would work really well.
excited.
And then like the ultimate, I don't know what it would be.
I don't.
Like, Hunting Horn buffs all this shit.
The thing is, like the direct already happened. That character wasn't announced.
They said there's more to come.
Oh fuck!
And that sheet is already packed.
Yeah.
Of characters, like
Dude,
they
it's
added
crazy.
like little like holes. I'm like, I didn't even see like a space for a character.
You
there.
guys getting that special edition
Maybe.
The
I think so.
UK version?
Oh, is it UK only?
Is it you? Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Never mind then. I'll still get it, but never mind
Yeah,
then.
but you could probably order it. It's like the game, the controller, and then something else.
It's the adapter to use the controller.
That GameCube controller is like the old school. Old school
Yeah.
ones will work. Okay.
It's legit the old school one because it's still wired,
I
and
have
that's
a
why you need
lot
that.
of old games.
Yeah,
I think it would be genius if they literally made a Bluetooth version of that
The
works
Wavebird?
with the
Yeah.
like a revamped Wavebird.
Yeah, well, because the Wavebird still requires you to plug something in, and that's like the connection. But like just a standard Bluetooth, like as
Right,
if it was a
right.
PS4, yeah, like
Revamp that.
yeah.
I would love that.
But the game still lags. Yeah. Local area network play.
But yeah, so I was just saying that for the crossover stuff. But going back, Behemoth.
Yeah. So like, I'm at that stage where like I'm weak. Like I need to find like my hidden power, hidden potential, and beat the shit out of it. And I think I've found it. Dude. It's Hammer. Hammer is my hidden potential.
Just don't let it jump on you or anything.
It's-
So Keith, me, and Vargas, they were doing it. And I was like, oh, they're still on.
the Kula. Okay, now
Yeah,
I
so
get
I
it.
jumped on, and there's like a prerequisite quest where you fight the Kula, the little like chicken guy with the stone,
Yeah.
and he has a crystal that and then he grows, and he becomes eventually to the size of like Anjanath.
Wow.
He gets, but he has this move where he hops, like leaps, and
He can leap pretty fucking far.
and it's pretty far. Yeah, it's surprisingly far. And what was funny was once or twice in the first time.
Well, he hit me and like no damage. Like I feel like it was
Yeah.
like minimal, and I was like,
Whatever,
so you're
shrugged
getting
it off.
comfortable. You're like, oh, this guy's not gonna, whatever.
Out of nowhere, lands on Vargas. Quest
completely
over.
out.
And we're like, oh shit, I guess that is a one-hit kill because you were at full.
Yeah.
And then we were hunting again, and like I got hit, and it was weird because I don't feel like we had very different. Like we're
Yeah.
at the same armor levels and stuff, and I was taking like decent damage, not full, but I was getting dizzy.
It was a lot of damage.
Yeah, but
then
it
you would
wasn't
get
like-
up dizzy immediately.
I would get up dizzy, and then I'd be susceptible to a hit or something, but I dodged it for a bit. Eventually, he got me, and then he got you. And I was like, man, this fucking cool is like worse than the.
Holy shit, dude! That's
It's like
jump.
a Cuckoo level 140.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure my armor was probably like maybe that jump attack is like an elemental type damage,
Possibly.
and I was like super weak to it or something. But
Okay.
fucking one hit kills.
You see any movies?
AMC?
Yeah, with your new AMC pass.
I didn't buy that shit yet.
Grave of the Firefly is coming, by the way.
This weekend.
Yeah.
Mm.
Are you seeing it?
This weekend, if I don't forget.
Just bring tissues.
No, no. I'll show my tears. Now, other than that, yeah, it was the two things I talked about. I already forgot. Behemoth playing that
In the anime.
anime, Destiny.
Cool.
Man, I'm trying to fucking think. Oh, I bought. That was the other thing. Holy shit. Switch. I bought
another Switch?
Dead Cells.
Ooh. Did you
Haven't
play?
fucking played it yet because it came out today
Did
on Switch.
But did you
it was
call-
available today on Switch.
Did you?
I've
But did you
played it.
copy the review?
Yes, I did.
I've been playing it.
I haven't tried playing it. So I bought it like over the weekend. It said, at least for the Switch, it said August 8th.
I've been playing on the Switch.
And so I didn't even like attempt to. And like it downloaded on my on this thing.
Bet.
It downloaded on the thing, and then as soon as I hit I was like, what the fuck? I can play now. And I hit it okay, and it said like it needs to connect to verify if it's able to play now. And I'm like, cancel.
You downloaded it?
Yeah.
Because what it might have been for me, because I played yesterday for the first time,
Mhm.
was maybe they usually, because usually they don't do midnight anymore. They do like 8 p.m.
Yeah.
the prior night. I was able to play like downloaded on my
It
Switch.
might have been like either a misprint, but
Okay.
I feel like I saw the August 8th, so I didn't even attempt to
Okay.
like look at it. So I still haven't seen it, but I already saw issues. They're talking about dropped frame rates.
Don't buy another Switch first of all.
Of course not.
Okay.
I'll buy a fourth one instead.
You're like, I'm not buying a third one. I'm buying 2 more. Double the horsepower. So I've been playing a solid like hour and a half now.
Mhm.
I haven't had any issues. I know that they said like now that it's out, their next priority is improving the Switch quality.
Yeah.
But it's been playing pretty smooth, and I've been playing docked. I don't know about handheld. The thing for me with that game was figuring out what kind of game it was. I thought it was a Hollow Knight. Like I'm just gonna progress. I
It
made a
looks
save.
like it too.
Yeah, it looks like it. I thought I was gonna play, progress, go back. Metroidvania. It's more like a Binding of Isaac, where you have a run. you'll make progress in that run, but if you die, you lose that progress, except for like certain like hard progress, like some big upgrades.
Yeah.
And you have to work hard for those big upgrades. And then you go through the whole run again. So I'm like, man, I gotta change how I want to play this, how my mindset is, because that feels exhausting to me right now. But no, that was not knowing what it was. Now that I know what it is, I'm like, okay, I'll play a little bit, I'll hibernate it, or I'll chip away at it. So, gearing my perspective is gonna help me not plagiarize my thoughts on this. We're making a bad joke right now.
Make a YouTube video.
What about you, Jack? What are you up to?
I was gonna play Monster Hunter. I can't find my game.
What?
Do you? Okay, so I was talking to Vargas about this. Do you, when you take out a game, do you put it in the same game box?
I put it where the box was.
It's mixed somewhere. It's been mixed.
How many boxes?
I've
do you
been.
have?
Well, I mean, when I switch games, I would just switch them to that. And
At least you're not the type that puts like the disc on top of
No.
That would like, as a kid, I'm like, why? Like I'd see the disc.
Like you go over to a friend's house, he's like, let me put that one in there, and then he's like, that disc goes there, that disc goes there. He's just putting it on top of everything.
This has a little bit of Coke on it, like.
So I can't find Monster Hunter. I'm trying to find it so I could play it.
I feel like you looked for a minute, you're like, fuck it, Fortnite.
So what you've been streaming?
So Fortnite, Vice City, 30%, almost.
Chipping away,
Dude. I need to beat it before Spider-Man comes out, and I'm not even sure if I'm gonna even buy Spider-Man. I'm gonna wait for the reviews. Insomniac Games is hit or miss.
I was listening to a conversation about this, and it perfectly summed up. Like I didn't realize this is how I felt, but it helped like completely crystal clear it. God of War to many felt like a surprise that it would be what it was.
Right.
It was like, oh, it's the same old shit, but it came out to be something more than that. Spider-Man, people are expecting, after what they've seen, all this hype, that it's going to be phenomenal. And it's going to probably be great. Like, I feel like all the gameplay is going to be good, but the way they're pushing it, I feel like, is to be something just like it's not going to be The Last of Us.
Can I call it? Like, I'm gonna say like how it's gonna go.
Call it in.
What's
So
the Metacritic score, first of all?
I think off the bat it'll get like an 87.
Okay. Ooh, that's pretty good.
But I think over time, the Metacritic doesn't change. Like, well, obviously, the more people that add to it, but the people that like, if I put an 87 on it, that's not changing after that on my specific one, right? Like, people don't change their
It's
mind.
average.
Oh,
So
well, I
Or
mean,
can they change the review?
when it
They
first comes
can,
out,
yes.
that
Yeah.
that review number usually changes from the first reviews. You want to wait a week, maybe it stays
To
steady.
more subtle.
No, but like if GameStop puts up their review, GameStop's review number isn't
Yeah.
going to change.
Oh yeah.
I think for the most part they don't, but there's been special cases.
Okay. So I feel like the thing is like Insomniac Games made the light electricity one. Wow, I can't.
Infamous.
Yeah.
Infamous, yeah.
I was like, is it
That game
Insomniac?
in the beginning, dude, was fantastic. It still is fantastic. The thing is, it gets so fucking repetitive. Like it's the same shit later on in the game.
Well, okay, so I think what you're alluding to, I'm pretty sure most game sites that give out their Metacritic score will have done a complete playthrough of the game.
Yeah.
Now, whether the game warrants multiple playthroughs, like a game like Dead Cells or Destiny or something, where the game is more than just like a campaign or something, that's where it gets murky. But I think that with like a God of War or a Spider-Man, they'll be like, we finished it.
Yeah. I don't know. I still think it's going to be a like 87 Metacritic. And then after like a month, I feel like it's going to have average like hype for like it's not going to be like the way it is now and people are going to be like it's all right. I mean
I think it's gonna have two waves. It's gonna have an initial hit. It's gonna be a wave of other games. Red Dead, many other games that are coming out. Call of Duties, the Battlefields, the Hollywood, all that stuff. And then when the Spider-Verse animated film comes out, it'll kind of like people will be like, you know what? I'm kind of wanting to jump back into this New Game Plus. Maybe they
Miles
hopefully
Morales,
they
Spider-Gwen, maybe
they could have DLC or they could have who knows what. Like,
they'll DLC.
Later, are we start? And okay, we're just right into the episode.
And it's over.
It's like when we say those words, hammers out. But I could see like maybe because I think that movie comes out late or mid-December. VGAs they could be like, by the way, sort of like how they did it with Horizon or the Zelda
or
DLC.
Sagat and G comes out tomorrow.
Yeah,
Have
it's
an
like, it's out
orchestra.
Yeah,
With Spider-Man thing.
Or have
But I think it'll do solid.
Zelda motorbiking.
What's your credit score, Metacritic score
I'm
for
gonna
it?
say 90.
Woo!
What do you?
85 maybe?
That's solid. I'm going 90 because I feel like they're taking liberties with the story. They're not immediately adapting an existing story, and that's gonna push some people to vote a little higher.
I just want Greg Miller's costume skin, please. Make it happen, Sony.
PSX. That's what
The
they'll show.
reveal.
The reveal of the next costume. Lack of a costume.
Or lack thereof.
Yeah. Have you been reading anything?
Oh, HP. Finally. I'm done. That was like a 2-year
So
I was stuck on Half-Blood Prince.
So,
for like,
what was your predictions for not Sirius, Snape?
Severus Snape.
Not even close to what you were
I
thinking.
was kind of close.
Okay.
I was kind of close. Like, I knew, like, the dough was, because of Lily, blah, blah, blah. But the thing, I don't know why he killed.
It still doesn't explain.
No, they explained.
Oh, okay.
And when they explained, I was like, oh, that makes sense. Like, I tried to overcomplicate it. I was like,
yeah.
okay, that makes
You're like,
You're like Charlie Day with the
I know,
pinboard.
right? I thought he got Imperiod. Where
He mind controlled? Yeah.
I thought he was controlled by Dumbledore, but no, it was much.
He was secretly.
The last book seemed, it was like rushed. I don't know. It feels weird. Like, you know what it felt like? It felt like Ready Player One, the movie, where they had a problem, they needed something, and we just found the solution. Like The Shining. We need to find the solution. We need to get out of here. Follow me. I was like,
My thoughts. Voldemort dramatized his Horcruxes.
yeah,
It should have been like, here's a grain of sand.
right.
Like, fuck off.
But yeah, he was into trophies, man.
I know.
What if
Did you expect that one Horcrux?
No, I didn't.
a person? All right. Anyways, what if it was rushed because people were like, "Fucking finish the book. You're taking forever."
It was like that because J.K. Rowling did an
It's
event
like
with.
you've been in a simulation before.
He did an event. She did an event with Stephen King, and they sold out Madison Square Garden,
Yeah.
which is crazy for book authors to sell that. And he was like saying, like, "Yeah, dude, you don't know how much pressure she was in. She would get calls." Like, how far are you on the book from the publisher? I was like, the pressure was like crazy. She's like, I will get it done after blah 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 blah. I was like, holy shit!
I'd be like, here, let me forward you to fucking Game of Thrones right over here.
Please refer all cars to J.R. Martin. Fuck off.
hey, Jeremiah, where's the last book?
He's like, started a new book, bitches.
Oh well, here's a prequel. But
So one thing that it's not so much what she's done, it's the how she's shared the information. She like sort of has gone back in interviews and be like, oh, by the way, this should have like she's like retconning her own stuff. And I'm like, I would have rather if you had addressed it differently instead of saying that is what like in an interview just disclosing information when she's still writing stuff for it, like little things here and there and helping with the productions of these new movies.
Mm-hmm.
If she wrote just another story, like a side off or something,
Covering.
that explained, like has those thoughts put in or something.
That'd be perfect.
Like The Lost Year, where Harry and Hermione like got lost, or some I don't know, some stuff like that, or like Dumbledore's misadventures, like.
When you just said like Harry Potter and Hermione got lost, my first thought, what was it called? The Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. So like they do love each other, but they forget it.
That would be good. That's
Said
a good,
it and forget it.
That'd be a good story.
So then
Like a tragedy.
Yeah, and that happened in between the books, and then it ends up with like obviously Hermione being with who she is, and then Harry Potter being with nobody because he's a piece of shit. No, I'm just kidding. He does end up with somebody, right?
Ginny.
Yeah.
Ron's sister.
Yeah.
Creepy.
I know. Ron's like, if it was
Piece of
anyone
shit.
else.
If it was anyone else, I would have beaten them up.
The flat. Yeah. Oh, so I went back to see the scene where Snape, like how he took Snape's memory and he was looking through Snape. The movie did not do it justice. I was upset. I was upset.
I didn't.
It's gonna be spoilers, dude. So like in the book, like in the movie, you don't see it, but like in the book, Harry's mom did like Snape.
Mm-hmm.
He had a chance, and he fucked it up.
Yeah.
Yeah?
In the movie, they don't show that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sort of just like a quick montage of clips.
What's the fuck up?
that?
Him fucking up was saying mudblood. It was just pretty. He called her mudblood, and she just got pissed off after that. And he was more into like his, what's the group, Death Eaters, than her, and that just separated him.
He was part of the Death Eater. Fucking more spoilers,
no, but dude, the characterization's so good with Snake because someone else says mudblood and he like gets pissed off. He's like, "Don't ever say that word." Like I was like, "Holy shit!"
Well,
but it's too late.
Yeah,
like, he did. It was too.
But
late.
to him, it's still like if I live this life.
So one of the cool things with the movies was, I believe, before because she was still writing them, I believe, as the movies were coming out, she had told the actor, Alan Rickman, about Snape's real intentions and thoughts, and like looking back and like seeing scenes of how he shows that or doesn't show it. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I think she makes it a big deal, right? She said she was trying to convince herself, saying like, "Is it better for me to let him know so that he can have these emotions in these scenes?
Yeah,
or should I never tell him?" And then obviously it leads up to this moment. But she felt like ultimately, like if I let the actor know, he can portray the scenes that are those that those have those pivotal moments more accurately. And she says it just made it a phenomenal job for him.
Yes.
I'm not gonna say that last movie did a lot of justice. I feel like it became just like we gotta wrap things up. Like a lot of things have trouble with endings, but I really enjoy many moments throughout the books, more so in their later years. Like I mentioned with the Voldemort's Dumbledore fight. Like the book, I remember I didn't read all of that one, but I remember going back and reading some passages. And the movie, I was like, man. This was like I saw
that fight was
IMAX.
Not that good in the book. In the book, it was so I'm sure the movie did it.
The movie was cool because like it cuts to like no music. It wasn't like da 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 da, and no like it was just like a fucking like as close to a tooth like you know when a fight happens and there's just gut sounds like like it was that but for magic.
Yeah,
I love that scene. And I saw it originally on an IMAX. I was like, man, this is how you see this shit. Like dragon.
I just imagine your mouth. Agape.
That was the one time I liked 3D in a movie because they were like, if you want to see IMAX, you gotta see 3D. I was like, fuck, I don't like how it feels on my like. They have the cheapest quality ones for the IMAX ones. They have the nicer like how your frames are. Like it's like comfortable. It was like anyway. Congrats. Are you gonna 3 years to finish the movies or
5?
Okay.
Stranger Things will still be in the back burner. We're going to finish the movies.
Okay.
I have to finish the movies because I want to make a YouTube video comparing both.
Make it so.
But I got to reread the books because
video?
I forgot. Yeah, speaking of YouTube videos, this is the next book I had to finish in 2 weeks.
A lot of YouTube videos in 2 weeks?
I'm just lazy, dude. Lazy.
For me, I canceled my movie pass. Felt like it was too many things.
Freeing.
Yeah, like you had said a lot of the same things. I was just like, I'll wait till the weekend to do it.
I just got a really good worth of movie.
Yeah, I feel like I don't regret the time I've spent with it. I was just like, all right, this is come to its end. But I did see Mission Impossible Fallout, and I fucking loved it.
Yeah.
Like the one caveat I will say, it's long. Like so, if you're not in the mood for like a 3-hour sit down, it's gonna start wearing on you. But what you see was like well acted. I thought if you like the last two, it's got more of that vibe. Henry Cavill, like thank God that fucking arm reload was the hype. I was so like, Kitty, it's happening. And
Mario's about to fight.
And like they make so this is the funny thing in that scene in the trailer. I was like, they're fighting like 8 people in this bathroom or wherever the fuck they are. They're fighting one dude, and whoever that dude was, they don't really show the trailer.
Boss fight.
It was a good fight.
He's a boss.
Philip Seymour Hoffman. He's back from the dead. Let's go.
God.
Danny DeVito. Bring it.
I like how you explained it. The arm reload, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
So then I started thinking about because he has a great mustache in that movie too. I'm like, which would I rather have?
CG'd as well.
A mustache that would make. It's hard to have a good mustache. I'm like the ability to have a mustache as good as Henry Cavill's, or the ability to just reload my arms on command. And everyone I've asked has said mustache, and I'm like,
no,
you don't
reloading.
understand what you can do with like if someone's like, you ready to go? I'm like, let's go. Like, do you need help carrying those groceries? No, it's like the constant
those
confidence
memes where it's
booster.
like I'd rather cut the blood circulation of my arm than do a second walk back to the grocery bags.
But the combination of those two,
You know what's crazy is I heard that he took a crash course in helicopter piloting for that movie. Crash course. So he didn't know how to fly a freaking helicopter.
He crashed a couple
wait,
times.
really? Because he never.
It was in Kevin and Bean. Source is Kevin and Bean.
He did it for fun then.
He took a crash course.
Oh, because he doesn't.
He
They
doesn't-
probably didn't end up
doesn't
using
fly
it.
a helicopter?
He does other things with a helicopter.
Oh,
It's pretty
shit.
badass.
They probably had like, they were like, we'll have a scene with it or whatever, and then eventually like, nah.
Huh. Interesting.
He was my favorite part of that movie too. Just like Tom Cruise is Tom Cruise. He's just like
So
stoic.
he's in it a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Like
I
what
honestly thought
happened-
he was just like that moment. It was like a backup character for that specific scene. That's it.
it's not really giving much away, but like they assign him to work, be like Overwatch and work alongside.
Oh, okay.
And you never know his intentions.
Yeah.
Like that's about all
Okay.
I'll say. But he's always with him. And Tom Cruise is very much like the quiet, like stoic man.
Ethan.
And Henry Cavill is like he doesn't like interject. He's not talkative or anything, but he's expressive. Like everything, he's just like, oh shit! Like he's not like a fucking like a Bane or anything. He like emotes and he
And then the next expression, arm reload.
like yeah.
You gotta need to watch it, dude.
It was good. I enjoyed it. Like again, if you like
When
the
you-
last two,
When you saw the ankle breaking scene where you're like, ooh.
no, I was like that cost $70 million for this studio, and DC's move Warner Brothers cost them another 100.
That's the Tom Cruise breaking his ankle.
From what I understand, this is how I understand it. He broke his ankle doing that stunt. Production was delayed 6 to 8 weeks. That time was the same time in which, or either that time or it pushed out the time in which Henry Cavill was then called back to do.
So then they
cutscenes. So that fucked that
Mission
one up.
Mission Impossible. The people that made that had to pay part of the CG for
No,
the,
no.
Okay.
They because 6 to 8 weeks of like rental
Yeah.
and all the other costs that they had to just pause everything.
Yeah.
And that cost money. And then that had the ramification of affecting Henry Cavill's schedule such that his contract wouldn't allow him to shave the mustache, so it conflicted the overlapping like we need to reshoot, fuck you, all this
You know
stuff.
what, though?
And that was like $100 million in CG to remove it for the other studio. So like that ankle
You know what,
went the
though?
distance.
I bet you that contract will never be made again. People will be required to shave. After that mistake, dude, movie studios are not going to make that same mistake. They will have it.
I think for certain ones, yeah, they'll sign being like,
He did an interview for Mission Impossible, which I'm like, ooh. He was like, he's like, I recently, it was with IGN or GameStop or Spot. He's like, I recently just replayed The Witcher 3, and he's like, I love this game. Like, and he's like, the guy's like, would you be open to playing him in the Netflix? He's like, in a heartbeat. Have you read the books? And he talks about like, man, the books go deep, and like the game is fantastic. Like, and they're diving into a lot of the stories from the
reader?
books.
nipples like thing.
That's Jane right there.
oh my god! But if you guys, just listening, don't know, he's reloading his nipples.
Yes. Well, they can see.
They're not
Check
everyone's
us,
gonna watch this.
for the audio files out there. So yeah, watch Mission Impossible. Played a fuck ton of Destiny. Got my shirt. I'm done. I feel.
Okay,
the weight
wait.
off
Did
my
you
seat.
order it?
Yeah.
Can you order more than one?
No.
Oh.
Why?
No, I'm just saying. I would order two.
I would have.
Can you at all? Like
It's a code and it's a one-time redeem code.
Damn.
Because it prices the thing at like
It's like-
$777 million and like as a joke.
Lost in the mail. I get to.
I put my gamer tag. I looked at my other shirts and they're just right next to each other. Cujo Prime.
so the code gives you a discount from the $7 million.
To like 15 or 30.
That's
forget.
actually really cool.
Yeah, it's funny. So I got that.
I wonder if anyone can actually check out with $1 million.
Fuck, all money goes to charity. I feel like instantly your credit card's like, no, we're rejecting that shit. So I got that weight off my shoulders. I'm not going for the PC one. I'm not going for my other characters. I'm
Hey,
like,
PC one
this
for
is my
him.
out.
Help him out, bro.
You're not gonna play.
But he can have the
play
shirt.
Monster Hunter.
Yeah. I am excited though for Forsaken. Comes out like literally the day after we come back from PAX.
Ooh.
And there's a lot of good shit like with it coming out.
Oh, the expansion. I'm like,
expansion.
what fucking game is called Forsaken?
Yeah. So now that I beat it, like I didn't touch it at all the last day or two. I was like, I'm gonna see what I can play on my Switch. I started Octopath. I'm like, I'm not in the mood for like an RPG, like a JRPG. It's like I need something faster. So I was like, Hollow Knight. I need to remember where I was at. I was like, I'll try Dead Cells. Just fucking wing it. And I start playing, and it was that whole what I told you earlier. So that was, I'm enjoying it. And then today I was like killing time waiting for you guys, and I was like, oh, I'll play some Fortnite. So I played a little bit. I got a long ways to go, but it's just fun to just like jump in, jump out, like whatever. Other than that, been watching Veep. We're on season 3 now.
Damn, how many seasons is it?
Like 6 are out, and there's seventh one's coming out. It's been on hiatus because she was dealing with chemo, but she succeeded with everything, and they're coming back, and I think it's the final season.
And you watched One More Thing.
I did. Evo.
I thought it was Stranger Things 3.
I'll watch
And
it.
let me just say something. You shout outs to the furry community because you liked. I don't know if you realize what you did.
I like Sonic Fox is a good player.
You liked the tweet.
Yeah, that's. I did that, and I was like, Jake's gonna see this. I consciously made that decision. I'm like, I wonder if he'll bring it up.
He was like, shout out to the furry community.
Hook, line,
like
tweet. Yeah. So the DBZ one was fucking crazy. Like,
cool.
I know enough of the game to follow it, but like seeing them play on that high level, if you fuck up one combo, like tide turn. And there was
his scoops were so good.
Yeah. Scoop?
Yeah. With Android, was it 16?
16.
Yeah. Like he fucking Zangief the fuck out of him with that character. And like watching the final rounds of that was pretty intense.
Dude, I just love Yipe's commentary. You got the Dominican building. You got the Dominican cell with the Dominican.
Yeah, the announcers, the shoutcasters. Katie was like listening, like, what the fuck are you listening? Is this pro wrestling? I'm like, nah, they're trying to be pro wrestling. They're just shoutcasting. They'll like say anything excited and like.
But like sometimes, obviously, like there are casters that get memorable sayings, you know? Like,
yeah, you know, they say
Orange Mango. You know?
Mango Sentinel. That's the same guy.
Why didn't he just hold back?
Got famous off of that clip, and he's forever a shoutcaster.
Until he says something bad
Marvel,
or racist.
But now it's Dragon Ball Z.
And then I watched the Street Fighter one. Those are like the main 2 I was invested in. Smash, like I know the lore of it. I love reading and watching documentaries of Smash, but I don't like follow the recent stuff.
Smash isn't
The
wrestling.
Tekken reveal.
The Tekken. Oh my god!
I feel like that was weird. I was like,
I feel like this is the closest Tekken's gonna get to Super Smash Bros, where they have Nox and Negan. I'm like, what? Fighting.
People's reactions are crazy.
Nox, short for Noctis.
Noctis. Yeah, I mispronounced. And then the Street Fighter one was pretty good.
Release tomorrow.
Yeah, and then Sagat and the president.
Did you think it was weird where they had that G guy come out? Like, whoa.
The guy.
Yeah. I was like,
there were some drops this year with Evo, but yeah. But the finals were good. Like I love that so many new faces were showing up from other parts of the world. Like it wasn't just like the Asian countries and then like America. It was like here's someone from like was it France?
UK.
UK. Yeah.
There was also like a national like cosplay.
Yeah, the Street Fighter one.
Yeah, Mexico took it. Yes,
that was a pretty cool one.
Actually, yeah, they did a really good job. It was like a choreographed fight.
The car.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
It was really cool. So like. It was Dhalsim and Chun-Li.
Chun-Li, yeah.
And Dhalsim, like, he would go like, Yoga Flame, and he would grab like a prop from the ground. It was like the fire, and he would like.
It was kind of like the picture.
Yeah, exactly like that. And then he would drop it, and then he did like another one where like the fire circles him, and he would had like a chain thing with like a red thing at the end.
My favorite was Chun-Li when she got out of the circle, and then her legs or it was a dude playing Chun-Li. But the legs
looked like a girl.
It did. I'd ask some
They were
friends.
brothers. They were brothers, yeah.
And he put his legs on this thing on the splits, and he like just spun him on the wheel, and he was doing the spin kick.
And that was the finishing blow for the second match. So Chun-Li won both matches, and it ends that way. Yeah. And yeah, they got like 50% of the votes, and then the next highest was like France at like 17%. Oh. So like Mexico took it hard.
Evo's fun though to watch. I enjoyed.
I want to go there live. My coworker says you should go there live.
Let's go next year.
Let's go.
Weekly DLC
Vegas, baby.
at Evo.
Maybe.
Shoutcasting.
You got a year. Don't worry about it, man.
It's just like, I don't know, man.
And then we can even try to win. Make a comeback, dude. Make a comeback.
Coming out of retirement.
Make a comeback.
All right, you guys want to get on topic?
Fortnite on the Switch. Make a comeback.
Oh.
Which topic first?
Mine.
Okay.
So I'm switching it up on you guys.
I know.
Surprise,
Again?
motherfuckers.
Wait, again?
Yeah. It's back to the original one. The Behemoth. I was kidding. You're so worried.
Keep you on your toes.
It's like,
Put on the Sonic costume. You'll be fine, dude.
yeah, I didn't know that. So the Sonic Fox, for people that don't know, is this player. Like, I want to explain it. He's a really good player of many different fighting games.
Yes.
But he competed in Injustice, got like knocked out earlier, and then in Dragon Ball he took the grand final one. And I didn't realize. So he finishes, and he had these like fur kind of like mascot gloves on. They
Like
had the hands,
like arm sleeves.
yeah, the gauntlets, arm sleeves. I'm like, okay, whatever, maybe just something cool. Then he gets up after winning,
And he has a
and
tail.
he has a tail, and then he puts on a furry helmet. And I'm like, oh, okay.
It's a mix of a furry and Sonic,
Him.
essentially.
Yeah, it's his furry. It's like whatever custom one he's identified as. But I thought it was cool because he's an openly homosexual and a furry, which are both like have a lot of stigmas with him. And he's like, I'm making a stand with this, or with like who I am, like being proud of who and what I am, and showcasing like everyone has a chance at this. So I was like, all right, props to him. And then we'll talk about some of his antics after. He did a few other things that we can discuss. But yeah,
All
go
right.
back to your topic.
So back to being the Behemoth. It's so old already. I want to talk about the Oscars. So they're adding another what is it called? Oscar, essentially, like a category, and it is it has a longer term for it, but the short term is like best. Dang, I already forgot the name of it.
Is it popular?
Yeah, like best popular.
You keep talking. I'll look it up.
And so I wanted to know what your guys' thoughts are on adding another category, because is it diluting the fact that it can only have one winner, because they're essentially splitting up a category like best movie and then now like best popular movie, essentially. What do you guys think is happening here?
How are they voting for this movie? People are voting for it?
I think it's the same way all the other. It's like the same way they're voting for all the other films.
Yeah.
How would they choose?
Just vote. Like, what is the most like widely received or enjoyable? What's it called?
I think it kind of dilutes
Outstanding achievement in popular film.
I think it kind of
Is what the new categories
dilutes it.
Really?
Because genre movies usually they can win Oscars, as you can see, like Shape of Water, and like people chose that not because it was the best science fiction movie. They chose it because it was a really good movie.
The thing is, too, though, is when Shape of Water won, it was their lowest rated lowest view count. And it was like 24 million.
But
it was 20% lower than it's ever been before.
But is that the movie's fault, or is that the event's fault for not having an entertaining show?
That's
there's other factors to consider.
So
it's like
one of the factors is that it usually runs over 4 hours. So it's like, who the fuck has time to watch 4 hours of film? Like, even like hardcore like movie fans aren't gonna probably watch a 4-hour movie. Like, why are you making this? So they add stipulations after adding also this new category, and one of them is it can no longer go over 3 hours
to the show.
And they're cutting out a small supporting category. And
wait, supporting role?
Not supporting role. Sorry, they're cutting out a smaller category, but no one knows what it is yet.
So this is my thing. If it's this sounds like not a movie issue. It sounds like a show issue. Like, how do they manage and make this an entertaining award show, which is an issue or a challenge like Oscars face the MTV Movie Awards, Nick Awards, what like Video Game Awards, like all these fucking award shows face. It's supposed to be a party. It's supposed to have an entertaining host, and it's supposed to celebrate what happened that year.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you shouldn't cut out smaller categories. I feel like there's like how Video Game Awards handles it. They kind of like will run through real quickly some of the awards that are a little bit more like tightly knit, or like mobile game. We during the break, like it should happen.
Yeah.
Maybe it just doesn't get televised. Like I would change the order of how you run things. That's my thought on that aspect of it. But regarding a popular, like they already did a recent change in the last few years where they increased the amount of films being not like up for nomination. They went from like 5 to 12, I think.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, I feel like if anything dilutes it, it's that.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
Because then I'm like, okay, everything's fucking up for an award. Like at that point, what does it mean to be like, this is an Oscar-nominated film? Like I don't like, whatever. Like Suicide Squad's an Oscar-nominated film. Like what the fuck does that mean? But that's another.
Well, just to give you an example,
and they have the whole like drama and then musical comedy.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, are we doing it by genres now, or are we doing it by popularity? Because like, there's no consistency.
Yeah, but just an example, this is something an article or like a bullet point I'm taking from an IGN article.
IGN, okay.
So
We're citing our sources.
Yeah, in 1929, the Oscars had Best Picture category. And it was it was Gone with the Wind.
Okay.
And then they had a second category, which was like a split version of Best Movie category. And the following one that won was the song, the one where she's singing on the hill.
Sound of Music.
Sound of Music.
Okay.
Musical movies.
No, so let me see. Let me read it a little better.
Like, The Martian was nominated for best comedy. It's like, if it's not already a joke, a lot of these things, it's like what, like that was a comedy,
right? Sorry. Okay, so it went to. There was an outstanding picture which went to William Wellman's WW one. World War I, Epic Wings, and there was Best Unique and Artistic Picture, which went to the Sunrise, A Song of Two Humans. Is this the one I was thinking about?
I'm not following.
No, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Okay, here it is. I'm sorry. It's Gone with the Wind, and then it was okay. They're talking about just monetary wise. Which one
for
was
the show?
For movie wise,
highest grossing,
like highest grossing, but I guess it gets convoluted. So there's like two top ones.
Wait, that was an award of like highest grossing film.
Historically, the Academy persisted awarded huge hits for many decades. Looking back at the list, Best Picture winner reveals a string of major box office, usually capturing. Gone with the Wind remains the biggest earning film of all time. Having made 1.8 billion, and then the third biggest film of all time is Sound of Music.
Okay, but I don't get what this has to do with. What are your thoughts on? Just tell us your thoughts on it.
I think it convolutes it because I still think the Oscars is set to like
prestige,
money wise. Whoever has the most money is able to get like a better or like. Win a higher award. I don't think
disagree.
it's. I don't think it's
I
fair.
don't think so. Because like Moonshine gets nominated. It's like an indie film.
It's a popular vote within their
little club.
niche. Yeah, it's a popular club. People's club.
Yeah, the most money would have been like the Transformers and those things. I feel like the shape
or Moonlight wouldn't have won over La La Land.
Yeah,
La La Land would have won. I think
there's like nudging happening.
Yeah, there's politics.
Yeah,
and I feel like that's the shitty part of it.
Yeah,
I agree.
But like when you add another category, I think it doesn't make it an absolute decision. It makes it seem like they're unsure. Like here's best movie, here's best popular movie. Like it's like wait, so you couldn't for sure have this one, so you're gonna split it up essentially. Like that's the way I see it. Even though obviously it's two categories, it's still technically best movie. Just one is popular by demand and one is what they decide. So now it's like it's more like they're pandering towards their audience, like because
I think it's a way of them addressing films that are like drama, because their categories are best drama, best picture or dramatic picture or whatever, and then best comedy or musical. They don't have anything for best science fiction, best blockbuster, best horror, best whatever, and like it's like a way of saying like this is how we can get like Transformers in there for the people, and I'm like, I don't think that helps your case. Like that just you're pandering to what you're saying, and like at the end of it, it really highlights the real problem of like you just losing viewers. This is the way you're trying to get viewers, and people can see that. Like it's very transparent when your intentions are like, we're not doing anything. Like, look, we gave you what you want.
What you really want.
What you really want. Yeah, Spice Girls.
I'll give you what I want.
I think it'd be cool
if they made a viewer's choice.
Possibly. That could work. That'd be a fun thing.
We can even call it Viewer's Choice Award.
Yeah. I think it'd be cool if they just like instead of doing, they could have Best Picture, and that could be all encompassing to all genres and be inclusive, but have less nominations for it. And then they could open up other categories of like genre awards, like Best Horror Film, Best Sci-Fi Film. I know certain films are crosses, like there could be sci-fi, horror, or whatever. You could select a few, like there's comedy, there's drama, there's musical.
Best comedy, A Way Out,
Martian.
The Martian would win them all. That could be interesting because then it's a way to showcase all aspects of storytelling. It's like you have like much like books, like you have book awards where there's different genres of books, and like that could be interesting. So I don't know. That's my thought.
Yours, Jen?
It waters it down. It's like
a nice sprinkling of water.
They want to keep the prestige. They gotta keep the prestige. But I just don't like how the Oscars how it's voted, anyways.
Yeah,
like I just don't like that. Like that group. And you see,
I think the more it goes, the more they're like
Meryl Streep wins another Oscar. Let's go. Her 15. She's been nominated 20 times and won 20 times.
I mean,
she's a good actress.
She's like a Triple H of acting.
And then yet we have Leonardo DiCaprio barely winning one, and he deserves 16
more. He had to get like mauled by a fucking bear to get an Oscar.
And the bear almost went over him,
Yeah, I think that's what it comes down to. Yeah, it's just like it feels much more like a little club than it does like an actual reflection of the filmmaking studios and genres. Like I feel like if it weren't run by the committee or board that it's involved in, and like this committee and board has had, it's all this politics. So like if you're able to take that away and have something like
jury duty,
just
have a group of random people come in and vote for the best movie, and it's there for.
Do you think TV has the same issue, like TV awards stuff?
What
Golden Globes and Emmys?
Yeah, those include.
I do. I don't think. I don't feel like it's as prominent though, or it doesn't feel like it's. It could be even more prominent. It just doesn't feel like it is.
Actually, you know what? I feel like. I think that they would vote a certain way, but something else would win. Like Mr. Robot would win over Game of Thrones. Like, whoa! I'll be taken aback. I was like, holy shit, that's pretty crazy.
Well, what's interesting is as we've talked in many other episodes, it's like filmmaking and showmaking has evolved and changed. So like at one point, like we're already seeing like Amazon films or Netflix films getting nominated for stuff. Do we open up a whole new category for a different sort of like ongoing, I don't know, like streaming service like for best award, or does that dilute more? Or YouTube, like here's a short film on YouTube instead of being like you submitted it to the Academy through X, Y, and Z. It's like Casey Neistat talked about that. He's like, it's like the prestigious club, and that's why he's like, that's why he loves YouTube. Is it's just anyone anyone with a vision can go in there and do that. So what happens if it becomes as inclusive as like the YouTube and these other?
Which is weird. I feel like popular YouTube is already an inclusive club.
Yeah,
like I feel like it is.
It's creating its own little niche.
Yeah. But I mean, you can still become big though, and make it your own, which is kind of cool.
But like, at what point do we see the equivalent of like a drama or like a something like a, not just a vlog, but, and not to just diminish vlogs, but just like a story start to finish of something that is comparable to anything else you've seen, that's like a Get Out or a Gone with the Wind or something like that hits you like that. Oh, interesting.
So I'm gonna go back to what I was trying to find.
Oh, you found it?
So
Behemoth?
it's 2 movies. It's
changing your topic.
it's a World War I movie called Wings,
Okay.
and then it's another movie called Sunrise. And so
Wait, Sunrise, the
yeah.
sci-fi one?
no, it's called Sunrise, a song with 2 humans.
Oh, okay. What are
Um,
these movies?
So Wings won Outstanding Picture,
Okay.
which at the time was like the highest one.
Okay.
And then they made another category, which was never. This was the first time they ever made this new category. It was a category called Best Unique and Artistic Picture, and then Sunrise won that one. This
Okay.
was on the same year.
Oh, okay.
So back then it was like these 2
One
movies
category.
were the top. Exactly. Well, it was finally split into 2, and nowadays the way it's seen is Wings won Best Picture.
Oh, they're like, who's the real champ?
Exactly. And they're saying Wings is the real winner, and then Sunrise is like a winner with an asterisk, like it's not Best Picture,
Okay.
but it's high up there kind of thing.
Okay.
So that's something that could happen nowadays. Like, like this is the first time they're going to have it. And so down the line, it's someone in a podcast named The DLC can be talking about it and be like, yeah, so this movie won Best Picture, and then this movie won Popular Best Picture with an asterisk.
I think it'll get less viewers this year, personally.
The lowest? Lower than 24
Lowest
million?
The low. Probably. Because I'm just like, how many people...
Want to make a bet on
No, I'm good.
It could be another topic. How would you make the Oscars to get more people to watch? But that's another.
Get Greg Miller in a Spider-Man.
it? Have one category.
Get that sexy ass man in that Spider-Man suit, ASAP.
And then Henry Cavill.
And I'll be an Asian J. Jonah. Where's that damn Spider-Man? Like,
The way they announced the movie is he like reloads his arms, punches a wall, and then it's revealed over on the wall.
I'll be good. It'll just be called the Disneys. Like, and the winner of the next Disney.
who should
is-
host it? You said Greg Miller.
What the
The Disneys,
Oscars?
the Disneys, and only movies that stream on Disney's streaming
I got it.
service.
Bill Cosby. No, I was kidding.
Chris Hardwick.
Got him.
All right, so if we're going that route,
Wait, who would I pick?
Kevin's face.
I'm gonna say Kevin. I'm gonna say Kevin Smith.
That'd be interesting.
These guys have way more talent than I do. So.
For me, my favorite still has been what's his name?
Billy Crystal.
No, he was good. He was good. Ricky Gervais. Like he burned.
He burns
a lot.
people.
He's like I don't give a fuck.
Yep.
No bias.
He's drunk, and you can
Yeah.
tell he's drunk, dude.
Yeah. He's solid.
got to calm down those nerves, you know.
The
Yeah.
one with he's like, oh, our next presenters, $1 billion in box office, and the other person, Tim Allen. I was like, ooh.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Tom Hanks and Tim Allen.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh.
All right, next topic. You or me?
It doesn't matter. Okay, so
Well, I feel like mine is similar because of the award stuff.
games.
So let's shift it over to games
No.
awards. I'm changing my topic to Behemoth.
Fuck the Oscars.
Yeah, fuck the Oscars.
Fuck the
Speaking of the
Oscars.
fuck the Oscars.
Fuck the Oscars.
That's what we should have titled this. Like, fuck.
You know what's funny? So
We
we're
can
going
still
to
change it.
we're going to PAX West, and Jeff Keighley has a panel, and he said, "Please give us like suggestions. Bring back the fuck the Oscars. Bring him back.
Fuck
Bring-
the Oscars. So what? We should get custom shirts. Like, let's just say fuck the
Seriously,
Oscars.
dude, I'm down, dude.
But we have to bleep out the.
I know, I
F
know.
Asterisk
Yeah.
CK. The kids, Mom, what's
My topic is about the game, like game of the year. Game Awards comes up, and then I think of like what is a game of the year, and like I looked at this year so far and what's to come, and there's so many re-releases, remasters, games as a services getting like new expansions or revamps or seasons, like new seasons of a game changing it, and then in original games coming out or whatever. And I'm like, okay, what does it even mean to be a game of the year? What's qualified? What isn't?
Mhm.
Like, I want to define it, not necessarily pick what the game of the year is. I just kind of want to be like, what is going to be our metric come the time when we're deciding that? Like, do you feel like an early access game is eligible? Do you feel like a games as a service that came out a year ago, like, just full? Give me your brunt thought, and we'll go into it. What do you think, Marcus?
So first of all, remasters are banned.
Why?
They cannot no longer be nominated.
Why?
They already had a chance. You can't have a second chance.
But my argument against that is, what if like it's released, let's say originally on like a PS1, and you're limited to whatever that can offer you. But then now you're playing it on like a Vita or Switch, and because of that portability, you're like, this game, I'm playing it differently, or I'm seeing it differently.
I would.
Do you feel like that should be taken into account, or no?
The
Like,
only
there's no wrong
consideration is like possibly like a full overhaul. Similar, like the one of them is, or actually two of them, I believe, is Crash Bandicoot and Spyro
And Final Fantasy VII, eventually.
That's gonna be it's gonna be
eventually. Actually, you're right. So those are full overhauls. Those like they're not using like the same engine. They've well, I don't know if it's the same engine or not, but they've like redone a lot of the graphics.
Because there was none of the original source code for Crash, so they remade it from the ground up.
Yeah. So like it's literally a whole new game essentially.
But it's the same like
in that
maps
sense.
and levels.
But if it's a port, like if it's literally, Metal Gear Solid still just playable on PS4, no.
Okay.
No. So Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, I think those have chances.
When they add
Final Fantasy has like those are acceptable. I would in my world of the video game awards essentially.
Well, okay, here's another example where I want to know where you'd fall down on this, like Mario 64, but on the 3DS.
Banhammer. Is that a re-release?
It was all the same levels, but you're playing it with. You can play it with a stylus.
Yeah.
You got the 3D. You got all that stuff.
If it's an existing game, no.
But you said Crash. It was all the same levels.
Yeah.
Like, what made Crash to you different?
Well, it's literally made from the ground up.
But they remade it exactly the same.
Right, but it's from the ground up. They didn't cut like the Warrior one. I don't know, like,
Which
but
one?
Warrior 64. You said
No, Mario.
God damn it.
Wario 64.
that was
The lost game.
I was
He's
literally
like, yes, I got him. Suda 51. Suda 51's like.
no. It's still like Mario 64. First of all, wouldn't have won it on the fucking 3DS because that shit sucks camera wise.
I'm just saying qualifies it. I feel like the Crash one,
No,
every level and all the gameplay was exactly the same.
but it's remade new. Like it doesn't. It's
So
not
what is
the
it different?
obviously it's the original game, but it doesn't contain any of the original code. Like it's all brand new, rewritten. So
And
it's
that
like
qualifies it.
I feel like that qualifies it. That's a brand new game. But
I
Mario 64, I don't know for sure, but my understanding would be it was not a completely from the ground up remade for the 3DS.
Okay.
So therefore, it's disqualified for having been. Another example would be Last of Us. Last of Us on the PS3.
That was a visual. Yeah, that was just visual.
Yeah,
overhaul.
exactly. So PS3 acceptable.
PS4.
PS4 remastered. Sorry, I just wouldn't qualify.
Jang, what do you think?
I'm okay with it. It's usually remastered games won't win Game of the Year. I mean, I'm okay with that just for the fact that they usually won't.
Okay.
Win. They'll be nominated, but it's really has a remastered game won? I don't think a remastered.
I don't think it's one, but like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Switch
I'm okay.
is like another. To me, feels like a totally different game than the Wii U version, just because of how I'm playing it. Like that's
okay.
my takeaway.
I'm okay with remastered being put into that category.
I like your idea. They don't have a chance, so you let them. But nah,
It's like,
nah.
It's like
I beat them down.
DC movie.
I think more. The only time I'd really be like definitively yes is if they add something besides a visual change.
Yeah.
Like if they add a mechanic or a way you play the game or whatever it is. That's to me where I would be like, you weren't reevaluating as a different like thing, but differing from yours, I don't think just the internals changing makes to me a difference.
And
like how FF7 is going to be done, I think would warrant it being a new, like considered a new, like nomination or whatever.
I agree. I took it away from your original question because that was a part of a category part of it. Can you repeat your original question, please?
Like how do you going to define like what is and isn't acceptable as a game of the year? Like,
okay, so that was one thing.
For early access, I think that first year only. Because it's unfair, like for Fortnite to keep on going. Like, okay, this is year 3.
What blows my mind is that they're considered early access still.
what blows my mind is that last year it was a different game altogether. Like it was just a build game, and now it's a phenomenon.
And that's what they're building on now.
So is it a different game? And then going based on what it is now, which season are we going by? Because does it play differently? Like what is a factor and what isn't? Is it the gameplay a factor, or is it popularity a factor?
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like going back to what he was saying, first year only of the game. That's like for Fortnite specifically. That's one of the rare things where it's a hard thing, because the first year of its early release, which would under his terms count as the only part that it's counting, it would obviously have never won Game of the Year.
Right.
With it being what it is now with the Battle Royale, it is the second year and it's now out of or disqualified out of his terms. But this game would have a much better chance of winning had it been still qualified.
I don't think it would win, but
there
has to be a time frame. Like you can't just have it forever.
But would you still consider that like, because it's all, I would almost say it's two separate games now. It was like a horde, tower defense game, and now it's a battle royale game. Is it still the first year you would count, or would that be split into two?
Because it'd be unfair if you keep on. It's like World of Warcraft. Oh, another year.
You're gonna have those hard cuts. Like you can't.
I would say that normally what you're saying is accurate, although I would put an asterisk saying under review, like under circumstantial.
If they change the gameplay like crazy.
Like if it's not as drastic as a World of Warcraft expansion to me, and like many other games like a Destiny or something, I don't think that qualifies as or like a Diablo is another good example. I don't think those qualify as like you're a new game. I think they qualify as an improvement, and should then be like in their own little category of like most improved.
Improved, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a good way of like tracking.
Add another hour to the award ceremony.
Yeah. Well,
more awards.
If they want to celebrate, yeah. Because games are changing to being like this ongoing stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, how do you recognize that?
This is another like topic, but like the Game Awards, they do multiplayer game of the year, and old games can be in it.
Yeah.
And should there be a cutoff?
Well, at that point, I would. I don't know whether, because multiplayer now means many more things than it used to. It used to just be like play deathmatch or play MMORPG. Now it's like play League, play the season, play this, like
Overwatch seasons and all these different things, different awards.
I think that would then have to be discussed of like PvP versus PvE multiplayer.
It almost seems like all this has gotten convoluted.
That we could argue that, but I feel like what's hard with the games is, more so than a movie, is the genres are fluid. Like you're not going to be like, this is a horror, this is a drama, this is a comedy.
New term, genre fluid.
Well, it's like people are like hero shooter instead of just a shooter, and I'm like, I've never heard of that until recently. I'm like, okay,
and that's
MOBA.
Overwatch.
Like they're just like, here's a new genre that we created.
Here's a fucking new genre, and just shove it down people's throat.
What do you qualify as Nier Automata? It's a shmup. Third person action adventure. What does adventure game mean? Like that could mean so many different things.
You know what's funny is with Nier Automata, I originally thought only the beginning was like the multiple, and then the rest of it was like the same thing. But I think it has a fair share amount of those styles in the game.
It does platforming, side-scrolling
exactly.
Platforming too.
But it's like a fair amount where it's like I can't be like, no, it's mostly this type of game style and that's it. Like the other ones are just like a little addition, doesn't count towards it. But no, it's like a fair amount of everything. So it's like it is technically a shmup and a schmuck and a schmoop.
All through.
Poopity scoop.
Poopity scoop. But like early access, like I said, I feel like it's I'm open to considering it depending on popularity, but also like if it's drastically changed per review, like under whatever review. Where do you guys stand on like games as a service? Like games that are just constantly updating, changing, evolving?
I would put a similar like type of hard stop where it's like in its first year is what it can be considered for Game of the Year, and then even if it becomes fucking Fortnite for the rest of it, it's disqualified after that and can no longer win Game of the Year. And to be honest,
so what is Game of the Year then to you guys? Because it doesn't sound like to any of us it's the most popular Game of the Year. Like Fortnite is clearly the most successful and it's everywhere. So what is game of the year then? Like, not talking about what is and isn't qualified. What do you think of, like, you're like,
It has to have the overall package. That's great storytelling, acting, cutscenes, gameplay, graphics. It just has to have everything. Last of Us.
So it gave me
Because it had to have everything has to be good. Everything. Triple A.
So like a Breath of the Wild or a Mario, I feel like they lack in some of those areas, but they're still fantastic.
True. But if gameplay is so good,
right,
it can outshine.
Okay. I was curious.
Yeah, because the story sucks in Breath of the Wild.
I mean, I don't feel like there's much.
Yeah.
Did Witcher ever win Game of the Year?
I'm pretty sure. It won a fuck ton of awards. I don't know whether, but like I heard that their DLCs were totally new stories that they added on to that. So like, were they considered separate? Because I know one of the DLCs got nominated for games for awards. I don't know what awards, but it was nominated as like best DLC or best story.
To give you some feedback or like some like knowledge on that DLC, one of them is the story of like the frog and the princess.
What?
Where like the princess kisses the frog and the frog turns into a prince. It's an evil ass fucking frog. That's what
Is
I
this
think
Blood
he's
and
eating.
Wine? Or the other one. There was two, I think.
I feel like if I recall correctly, it is the second DLC, which is Blood and Wine.
Okay.
I think you're right. It's that
Cool.
one. But yeah, the way like it was Roberto who was like he's the one. I actually bought one of the DLCs for him as a gift, and then when the second one came out, he bought it himself. And he always tells me about like the DLC stuff, and like that Blood and Wine one was like it just sounded really fucking cool. I was like, that's such a sick ass like twist to an original story. I thought it was really cool.
So okay, going to you. What do you think? What does game of the year
So,
mean to you?
game of the year. It's I feel like it's a very difficult question to answer. The thing with me is I get tired, and I think I've expressed this before. I get tired very quickly of games. Like I'll move on to a new one right away. And there are a handful of games that that's not the case. Destiny 1 was one of them. Like I played that shit for a very long time. Never got really tired of it. World of Warcraft, of course. But right now, yeah, like there's all these other games. I'm picking up a lot of small games from the Switch, and I'll play them for like an hour, 2 hours, and then be like, all right, next, move on to the next thing, move on to the next thing. And like, I'm not satisfied. I'm constantly jumping to different games. So for me, it'd have to be, but that's personal towards me, you know? So that's difficult to say. But like, for me, it would have to be a game that I won't tire of very quickly. That's one of my biggest things. That's a personal thing. That's obviously because there's like God of War is a game that I got tired of right away. I like persisted through it to get the platinum. But like you hear the stories about people loving this game, being fantastic, and it just seems like obviously in my category that would not even be in the runner up, in the register for fucking game of the year, which is insane. Like that is a fantastic game, and it is like don't get me wrong, but it just couldn't keep my attention very long.
So, by your values and stuff, would you say that a game you played longer than Last of Us, the same year Last of Us came out, would warrant winning over Last of Us?
Yeah.
Okay.
For me, it's...
Because I know I'm using Last of Us as an example because I know you both hold it in very high. We all do. And that's why I was
yeah. I agree. I'm trying to think of a game... The most recent game, like, and say that again.
I was just saying, there's something that should be said about like how much time you're putting into a specific game.
Time investment, like, because
if you're spending all your hours in Fortnite or in God of War or World of Warcraft or whatever it may be, that tells you something about that game's like loop.
I feel like this isn't something that's talked about a lot, but like you don't only just buy a game, you invest your time in this game, and time is money. You know, so the more time I invest, I want it to be quality time invested. Like I don't want to like force myself to play a game I didn't want to play, like Knack. So therefore never touched it. But then like, a game like Last of Us, which a fantastic playthrough. Played it like 3 times total, I think, like fully from beginning to end, and then I've occasionally gone back to the multiplayer on that, just because like the multiplayer still has the feeling of the game itself. They did a really good job of capturing the way the game plays in single player, in multiplayer. So that's a really good game that had that quality time that I wanted, and I was willing to give it more time.
Okay.
You know, like out of like just the fact that the game was great. For me, it just sounds crazy, but God of War didn't have that for me. You know, like as soon as I beat it, even though like there was one thing I loved, it wasn't enough to like redeem the whole game for me, and that was the Valkyrie fights. I thought
It needed more of those.
I think it did, but they also needed.
Well, you're about to get New Game Plus.
I know. I'm probably not gonna touch it. It also, I feel like the Valkyrie fights needed a much more variety. It did have variety. Like each Valkyrie had one specific move set that differentiated it from all the other Valkyries, and then the final one had every single piece together. But I still feel like every Valkyrie had to have a little bit more oomph to it.
Okay.
Because it felt really almost the same. Like I think, killed a few not even knowing some of them had these moves.
Yeah,
I think it was.
I just fucking spammed the fuck out of them.
Exactly. And there's moves that you can do, like, I don't know if you know, but you could have shield bashed when they hide behind their...
I learned that on the last one.
Yeah.
I learned everything on the last one.
Exactly. Like, there's a move where she, like, flash blinds you. And you could literally hit down where you do 180 spin, look away, it doesn't even fucking affect you, then turn right back again.
And you're good to go.
It doesn't fucking help you very much, like telling you that shit. But the idea is the Valkyries, as you play them, is supposed to teach you how to work, how these mechanics work, and then it eventually helps you with the big one. But sometimes you just rush through and you beat the shit out of them, never even saw the mechanic function, and then you're stuck with the Valkyrie. So it did have, some down, but like I love the length, the amount of time it took for the Valkyries. It wasn't crazy bad, at least not on I think I was playing like on hard difficulty, not the hardest one for sure. Okay. It was really well done.
Okay.
Yeah, they had but other than that, the game isn't game of the year for me.
Okay. I think for me, I definitely agree with a lot of what you're saying. I think it often gets kind of like pushed aside, that thought of like, I played game X all year long, but because I played this one game and it was amazing, that's the game that it's like head and shoulders above the other one. I feel like something should be said about like the 300-400 hours I put into whatever, like Monster Hunter or whatever else, Destiny. That something should be said for that. It should get an applause or an award of some sort. So if a category doesn't exist to address those games that are constantly, because it is like it's been something we've talked about. Like games are more and more like, hey, Anthem is going to be a games as a service, or whatever X and Y is going to be games as a service. It's a different set of challenges to constantly create a gameplay loop that's engaging and feels fresh and new. Granted, that withstanding, I feel like the games that tell amazing stories or make you feel great things should still, like, to me, that's where Game of the Year is going to shine. Well, actually, to me, more so than anything, I think the games, whatever the lengths are, that have left the longest impact. Like, if I come out of a movie, whatever movie afterwards I'm thinking about like for weeks on end, like these fucking arm guns, like I can't stop thinking about it. Like that says something to me about this movie and how I feel about it. I'm like, how did I feel about Jurassic World? I hardly remember any of the story of that. So like,
but Pacific Rim 2 though,
I didn't sleep.
Better than fucking Ready Player One, you know?
Yeah. Head and shoulder. No, I'm kidding. No, but like I always think of that with a movie. It's like, okay, maybe during it was great and it was impactful, or we discussed, but then if I don't think much about it the next day, I'm like, you didn't get to me, and I'm like, that knocks it down or doesn't get it to the higher levels of like you should be considered. And I think of that with a game, whether it's like a Telltale 3-4 hour game or whether it's a Destiny 500 hour game. Whichever one like leaves the longer impact or feeling is the one I'm like, that's my game.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's enough of a mixture here of like different viewpoints to that.
Definitely.
Did you guys have any other like thoughts on challenges or opinions on the game award stuff?
I'm trying to think.
They should have a. No, it's kidding. I was gonna bring up your topic. They should have a popular. No, it's kidding. They do have that though. They have like the
Do they?
people's
popular opinion.
People's choice?
Yeah, they do have
They
something.
They should
like
have
that.
People's Choice Awards.
Yeah. I think like whenever it's not so much like a game award, like the video game awards nominations. I'm just thinking whenever anyone's thinking about like what is my game of the year,
Yeah.
don't automatically write anything off, like certain things off or include certain things because like I would consider Pokemon Go an option or eligible.
For the previous video game awards, was it Breath of the Wild or Mario Odyssey that won? I think it was Breath of the Wild. I want to say
It was not Breath of the Wild.
No.
No.
It's Mario Odyssey.
Okay. So for me, I just within those two, obviously for me it would have been Breath of the Wild, because I feel like that has more replayability. Like after beating it, I can still continue to play. Like there's 3 fucking Korok seeds I need to get, or 300 of the little guys I need to find, which is insane. But every corner of the game is different than every other corner essentially.
I feel like, again, this is subjective.
Mhm,
I feel like Mario, people have similar stories in that, like, okay, how did you get that moon? I did it doing X number of challenges.
sure.
And so to them, that was more appealing. Like,
Yeah.
it varies. And I think that's great. And then, like, sometimes these stories that we're talking about, like, that was a great story. Sometimes it's our own stories. It's
Mhm.
like, how did I do Grand Theft
Yeah.
Auto? How did the game allow me to make my own? Like, how was Street Fighter? How was my time with?
It was Breath of the Wild.
It was. Okay. That's me sitting there.
Motorcycle.
Forgot
Alright.
about that.
Next topic.
Yes. So this past week there was Evo, which
Ooh.
we saw. I never miss the Evo. I try not to.
And that's short for evolution.
Evolution. Yeah.
Evolution.
Yeah, evolution.
Evolution.
I didn't see if it was on ESPN this year, but it's always been been on ESPN 2. So I don't know if they were on ESPN 2, but so my topic is how do we legitimize eSports? And the reason why I bring this up is because like if I were to talk to someone, just an average person off the street and say there are people, okay, would you call pro gamers athletes? That's like another like topic.
Man,
So-
you're throwing topic
Yeah.
after topic at
And
us right
is
now.
Behemoth a topic?
That sounds familiar.
But yeah, so how would you legitimize? Because it doesn't look legitimized. If you ask the average person, like, hey, there are athletes making money and they're playing video games. And it kind of looks frowned upon and laughed at upon, I think, from average person. So how would you legitimize it?
So I would, to answer one of your questions, I do think pro gamers are athletes.
Controversial.
Woo.
They're sitting in front of that fucking TV or computer and they're training them fingers, dude.
So you could say a gamer is like a jock now?
no. So
Like the varsity team?
What's weird, like you said, like
varsity team?
like your social status in school is related to Fortnite skills now,
that's true.
which is weird.
That's
Really?
true. So therefore, there should be Fortnite clubs.
So that whole coaching article, the reason why kids or parents are hiring coaches is because your social status goes up if you're good at Fortnite.
also
in
because
school-
you
in
can
school.
win like $100,000 because of the Fortnite tournaments.
True.
Yeah, there is a social thing where it's like how good you are in the game tells you how good you are in real life apparently. But so pro gamers I think are athletes. As for the question to how to legitimize esports or Evo or different things like that, I think having a better structure. I feel like whenever I watch Evo, you look at the audience and just like random ass people just sitting down in the thing. Like I feel like it's got to be more more structured in the sense of like this room specifically is like all of these certain people, like all of the Dragon Ball Z. This room's all of these certain people, and they can be in that room. Like it seems like it's just open rooms everywhere, and like the people in Dragon Ball Z you can see in the background, like while you're watching Street Fighter fight and stuff. Like it just doesn't seem like being the convention is structured to be very well for what it is for a Evolution specifically. What else? I would fix that. I would make that more structured. I would have them have like nice size rooms. So obviously you have to change the venues probably. What else?
So the venues are too small?
I think the venues are too small.
Really?
But the thing
it was in the Vegas it was in the where the sport the basketball court was like.
I guess I would say maybe they're not too small, but like I don't like the way it's structured. Like it doesn't seem like it's
the layout
divided
of the
very well. Yeah.
Okay.
It almost a lot of it melds together. Excuse me.
Are they all happening at the same time? I don't know how Evo is. I thought like one game's on the stage and then that goes through.
The main tournaments are on the stage.
Yeah.
Well,
And
is
then
there
they're
like
smaller.
another game on the other half of the stage, or
I don't think so.
okay?
Yeah.
Not main stage wise, but there are like other tournaments happening almost nearly at the same time,
different
obviously
room.
off of the main
I
stage.
see,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So it's not staggered, but they try to stagger at least the main events so that those can be all watched by everyone just watching the main stage. But other small stuff like the
qualifiers.
yeah, and mostly like obviously like the last two fighting for like the actual like win for that specific game will usually be on the main stage, but the smaller fights are not staged. I don't know. It's hard to like because I'm not like a convention person that can really structure everything.
Well, like when you go to a basketball game or like, have you been to a physical sport?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about those, and how would you compare? Like an eSports, like how would you want an eSports to emulate
like
that or not?
If I were to try to structure something, my convention would be like the Fire Fair or whatever it's called. That failure of a convention for all the Instagram models and stuff. Fire Fair.
I've never heard of it, but that sounds about right.
I don't. What is it?
Fire Fair was like this guy who wanted to make like kind of like the next Coachella.
Okay.
And it was literally like on an island.
Okay.
And tickets were like insanely overpriced.
So you're saying you wouldn't do it like that? Or
No, I would accidentally do it like that. So what ended up happening is people spent like hundreds of thousands of dollars, not that much, like thousands of dollars, to try to go to this event. And then when they got there, it was like literally like fucking homeless tents that they build for people, and like the menu wasn't even ready.
So
and the guy got sued, and he's completely poor and going to jail. I would fail miserably making a fucking convention because I don't know how it works.
not a convention.
Or like I consider like Evolution a convention for some reason. It's competition, but
as a sport, like how would you make? Okay, we'll
Sorry.
come back to you.
Yeah, please.
I don't mind. Put more money. Put more money in the prize pool. Like if you put more money, like you talk about it to like older people. Like these people are playing for games. Yeah, but there was $1 million prize.
I think that
kind of go.
You had a side. Do you feel like that's just like a easy way out?
No, I feel like that's an aspect of it. I don't feel like it's gonna stop the things we were talking about, like concerns of that damages the legitimacy.
Mm-hmm.
Like stuff that comes to mind was like Sonic Fox, great performance, did superb playing, but then afterwards he puts on his furry outfit, which is his right to do.
Mm-hmm.
But like they're putting the medal on him, and like other contestants who've like been to Evo like 10 years or so are standing next to him, and he's in like a Mickey
Right.
No disrespect to like the furry thing, but like
It
he's
does.
on stage, and it just like to a passerby, they're like, why
doesn't
is
look-
a guy that looks similar to like something I would see at Disneyland or something else, kind of like laughing and stuff.
Yeah.
And like to a passerby, they don't know the context of like this is him being proud, this is him showcasing, and I feel like that risks damaging it.
That does.
But that could be. I mean, I don't know.
So you're saying you'd put restrictions into not having?
No, I would just say like the participants need to have like an expectation of like this is there's a respect or prestige to the event. Like if the participants don't feel like the Smash one is another example of it. That Smash at Evo, they were being booed because the ruling at Evo allowed for characters that are considered like overpowered and just like if that's allowed, no one will play anything else.
Yeah.
And they allowed it at Evo. The organization did. And so the two players like, well, we're using it then, and it became the dullest match. And so people were booing these athletes who had been training and working their butts and to travel and to do these things. And then they were like, our way to retaliate against the viewers or the audience is to just stall and taunt each other. And people are like, wow, like this is how you're gonna treat this stage that you're on, and that damages the legitimacy, I think, of what that is supposed to be. It's like, is it a stage where the most elite play, or is it a stage where two guys just like taunt each other? Regardless of whose fault of whatever it was, it just doesn't look good when you're seeing it.
In the event of like, obviously, in us trying to make or legitimize sports, eSports specifically.
Yeah.
In that event, how would you have proceeded as punishment?
I wouldn't say a punishment. I would have done as much proactively to ensure that everyone involved in organizing the event and everyone participating in the event, there's like an ethics code. It's like code of conduct. Like when you see like a sport being played in soccer or in basketball, if you have like misconduct or something.
But what do they do?
Fine.
Red card, fine,
yeah.
whatever.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I would.
Well,
fine
I'm just
them.
like I wanted to give you the context of like where that would come from. So yeah, I would have something like you're behaving poorly, like poor misconduct, or
do like
bragging.
a yellow card, and if they continue, obviously red
And
card.
if they
and
do
you're
anything that is considered over the line as well, then they could be subject to like a fine or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like those keep that part in check. And then having a lot of the events that I've heard and seen have been what have kept a lot of these games competitive, and which is the grassroots side of things. It's like little communities here and there doing scrimmages, doing tournaments on the side, money pools, like that draws people in. 100% agree. I do think though at some point there needs to be like an overarching like organization that says we are the official X tournament or Y tournament, like like Capcom Cup. That is a traveling tournament that people compete in and place and stuff, and then they go to a certain point.
But I think something that's made Evo so famous is the fact that they have obviously every game there, but they have the
that
majority
is another
of games.
example of being like an overarching organization. I feel like all these, that's like,
It's
to
the
me, it's
Dimmadome.
the Olympics. And then Capcom Cup is like the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And then Smash doesn't have one. Like Smash, like Nintendo lets them handle their own.
Them.
And I'm like, you need to like get your hands in on that.
You need to get in on the shit.
Like they do that with Splatoon. Overwatch, I think, is doing some. They're not doing all the best steps, but they're doing some steps. And like we have a league, we have picks, we have locations that are associated with it.
That they do this with this new Smash Bros. Ultimate.
That'd be great.
I feel like it is something that they will go towards because that's something that they did to help promote Splatoon is tournaments that they sponsor.
They're like, hey, E3, in addition to E3, we're doing our Splatoon tournament or whatever. Fortnite, I'm not 100% familiar with, but I know they've been doing a lot of like Red Bull sponsored tournament, Fortnite sponsored tournament with hits and misses. I don't know how it caters to that game, competitive play. And some of these games, it's like, how do you standardize or make something competitive? Like if it's a game where as long as I paid more or as long as I grinded more, like if I'm playing Destiny and I've grinded to get a certain gun that you never even bothered getting, does that give me a distinct advantage over you? Like, how does that factor in? Street Fighter, I think, is another thing. Last thing I'll say before, if you guys want to say anything else, I think Street Fighter does something better than any of these other games. Is that anyone can follow it. You see Street Fighter on a screen, you're like, I know the health, I know the players, like everything is crystal clear. You watch an Overwatch game, I don't know what the fuck's going on. You watch a mobile,
and they're always like
Blaze
changing perspectives, and you're just like, what?
It's like for a viewer, for a spectator, it's hard to follow.
Yeah.
That's like a pass. Like, how do you get like if I'm watching a soccer game, I know X, Y, and Z are happening. I think that is a big element to help garner.
I think there's levels because like when it comes to football, well, for me in general, physical sports, I'm fucking lost. Like I watch soccer, there's times I don't know what's going on. Like I don't know. Like I understand that there's like the what is it called offsides when, and that's generally when like the
the
ball's
guys ahead.
passed to someone
Sure.
and he's the
very
like,
true.
yeah.
I agree. That's the same with physical sports. Not all of them do it.
Yeah.
Like I can't follow baseball to save my life.
Yeah.
Like I thought it was just very basic rules, but then there's like levels of rules
And that's
and
the way,
technicalities
like,
and all this shit.
I was going to compare it with Leagues of Legends. Like,
Yeah.
I'm obviously familiar enough with Leagues of Legends to be able to understand that there's 2 teams,
For me.
there's five people on each team, and then you just have to know what color they are when they're changing to fucking every team member. But I'm able to follow that just because I have obviously knowledge of it, and I feel like it's similar. Like, if I had knowledge of soccer, I'd obviously be able to follow it, but I have very little knowledge. So,
But what's great about like a soccer or like a Street Fighter is if I'm able to hit you and beat you, you can be like, it's because he went this way. It's like it's like a chess game.
Mhm.
You're like, okay, he made a move, wrong move, he made a move, right move,
yeah.
so on and so forth. Soccer, you're like, they moved in a certain way that was like that outplayed the other side, and they scored a goal. Point.
But yeah, I see what you're saying. Like the fighting games, it's like so easily
Some
recognizable.
of them, not all of them.
Yeah,
I don't
like
thi-
Blaze Blue
I don't think like a Marvel vs. Capcom is as easy to follow as it's
with
entertaining.
6 players.
Yeah, with
total,
like
or 6
combos up going up a wall. I don't know what the fuck's going
constantly changing characters.
Yeah.
What the fuck? He was Ryu. Why the
Yeah.
fuck is he this person now?
on. I think that plays a factor.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's the most important thing, but it definitely helps.
I think what helps is this is already established professional owned teams like Echo Fox. Rick Fox owns that team. His ex-Laker basketball player. Shaq owns a team. Magic Johnson owns a team.
Doesn't one of the guys from the Patriots?
I don't know.
I thought he did. I don't know.
Probably.
I think in addition to that, locations help.
Mhm.
Like with Overwatch, it's like the Los Angeles Valiants. You can be like, our city has pride now, or our region has pride of Team X or Team Y.
Don't like a lot of these places have like houses where these people all live together.
Right.
and
Yeah,
they train
train.
together.
Yeah.
So I managed to gather my thoughts with what I was talking about, with like Evo specifically. Why I don't feel like it still looks professional is something which I'm sure you're both familiar with is the fight between Daigo and Justin Wong. If you look at the background, there are people sitting on the ground. Like, it's so packed.
But that was
with
when
that specific-
Evo wasn't really
I know
organized.
it's not super organized, but if I look at the background of when even like the most current one, it is still just the show floor like that with like obviously just like manual seats that they put down on the ground.
It's like
You
a
know?
stadium.
No,
Yeah.
it's like imagine a basketball stadium.
Oh,
and
is
then
that the main
also,
stage?
And then also seats on the court.
Yeah.
So is it just the small side games like
So
the
they had to do pools. Pools are not done on a main stage.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so
Those will be in rooms like what
Okay.
you're
Yeah.
saying.
Because there's just
Okay.
too many people. There's thousands
Okay.
of people.
See, so I would have to say like I would want everything to be something similar to like a main stage. Obviously not that big for the smaller
like
stuff.
imagine PSX where they do Capcom Cup.
Yeah.
That I think is like a scaled down version of what you would see
Yeah.
at that Las Vegas
Mhm.
convention.
Okay.
Like imagine a full convention
Okay.
center seated that
Yeah.
way. But like that seating is great because it's like you got people in the crowds, you got people on the floor, you got a
Mhm.
display, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sound like a hypocrite, but they need to have professional. Like the casters did Street Fighter are professionals. Seth Killian and James. Was it James Chen?
I don't
yeah,
know his name.
James Chen. But like, I love Yipes and like the Dominican. Like it's funny and all, but if you use that, I don't think it will
diminishes.
grab the mainstream. Like you don't hear sportscasters act. Actually, there is a sportscaster that does that. British soccer. He's like a Jedi in training. Like, I mean, so I don't know. I
And
guess
then
it can work.
And then we have famous ones like John Madden. He's done like the
Madden games.
Madden games about talking. But he also like within those games, he's voiced over funny lines.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
that go over
That's
it.
true.
I do think like okay, here's a thought. Where is it available to view? Like people will be like, "Oh, did you tune in to ESPN to watch X game or whatever?" I feel like right now, I'm not saying it's wrong or anything, but a lot of these things it's like, "Okay, check it out on Twitch." And that's a lot every time prior to like these big streamers now, I've heard about Twitch out viewing an Oscar or an event or something has been with a tournament of some sort. It's like the Counter-Strike tournament or the X tournament, the Dota one. I
Dota,
forget.
yeah.
What's the Dota one called?
I don't know, but Dota wins.
The Invitational
Yeah.
or whatever. Like they're like this got more viewers than half of the World Series
Mhm.
last year or something. I feel like that says something about it, but
I think in other cultures it's legitimized. Like Korea, Dude,
they have their own channels?
eSports? Actually, I don't know, but
They got their own scandals.
People know. Like,
They have
people don't know
commercials.
Ninja, right?
Yeah.
But if Ninja was like popular as he was in Korea, like let's say he was a StarCraft player,
Like
or whatever,
Tokaido.
people would know. He's a rock star.
Yeah.
He
in
would
Korea.
need to have a bodyguard. and-
Yeah. Well, like I see stuff of like Tokaido's back stuff, and it's like he's been on 8 different games. Like when I was in Japan visiting, I saw Tokaido on like the local game show being interviewed. I was like a daytime talk show.
Yeah.
It's like
Crazy.
Tokaido. He's like, oh, and they like recreated his life with an actor, and it was like a comedy skit. But he's like, eh.
Yeah.
And his face is everywhere. I feel like Ninja's the closest because he's been on some interviews, but that was just like when he surged up with the Drake stuff. You're right. I think like more exposure like that, like getting like the best of each sport, like the Kaidos and the Smugs on like big platforms to like speak about it. Twitch though, would you keep it there or would you have something,
The thing is, like what I was gonna say.
or would you have an alternative to it?
What I was gonna say is, I don't think ESPN is currently helping much when it comes to watching streams. Because, like, as a person who wants to watch Evo or any type of esport, my first thought's not like, oh, let me go to ESPN. You know, like it's
Right.
not gonna help people that are already watching somehow, a championship or like a tournament like that. To watch it, like, and I'm not gonna scroll through TV and be like, oh shit, an esports game on
It's so
ESPN.
convenient. The internet's
Like,
so convenient.
Exactly.
Was it also available to watch on YouTube?
Yeah, it was.
Okay,
It
Yes.
was.
because I was gonna say.
Not a lot of people, but it was.
I feel like those two cover any sort of ease of watching. Like if you're not familiar with, like, if I'll say this, the kids and the people that are in the gaming industry that are familiar with Twitch will use Twitch, and then a parent or anyone else that's curious could easily find it on YouTube. So I feel like those cover their bases.
I think the benefit is, like, with technology evolving so much, like I could literally stream Twitch to my TV
Yeah.
and still have the chat.
Yeah.
And when I do it like through Chromecast, the casting, literally my phone now becomes only chat. And I can literally be involved while watching these tournaments. You know, I can type in Ligma, you know, like 1,000 times, get banned, but I knew that I did that for myself. You know, like, no, but I just think there's so much more activity in watching a stream either through YouTube or through Twitch as opposed to just watching ESPN. ESPN, it's like you're alone. Twitch,
Are you?
I'm with other people.
Like, okay, here's what I'll say. I do think what I won't say it's a ESPN thing. I say it's more of like a physical sport thing. There's sports bars.
Mhm.
I think it would be a great breakthrough if like you see a bar or a pizzeria or whatever being able to be like, hey, come to this pizzeria,
I
watch Evo.
agree with you. The only problem is, like, for the channel itself, that's obviously like, let's say in a
For the
bar,
channel?
100 people.
Oh,
Because
yeah,
the
yeah.
thing is, like,
You need viewers.
ESPN's gonna be like, we have one fucking person watching when it's just a bar with 100 people inside of it.
But okay,
That doesn't benefit them.
you could still be in chat. Like I can have Twitch on my phone, chat only.
No,
and
no,
participate.
I'm just saying, like, having the bar thing doesn't help the channel. Like, I feel like ESPN is trying to still bank off of esports, and you talking about a barcade, it's not
No,
gonna help.
I'm not saying two different things to me right now. I'm
Okay.
not doing the ESPN bar. I'm
Okay.
saying
Oh,
a
just
sports bar
okay.
and like having an equivalent of a sports
I
bar
see,
for
okay.
esports. Like to be able to watch an Evo or to be able to watch the Fortnite or the.
I think that'd be cool because, like, you know, like when you go to sporting events, they do those chants, like when they're doing the Dragon Ball, like
Yeah.
when Cell will go, ah, like everyone in the
Yeah.
stadium, like that
and-
energy,
and
is
people
good.
are. It would also help local businesses. Like okay, have like Capcom do a partnership with a chain of whatever food.
The best bars right now are barcades that can do it.
Barcades would be great, like a Wild Wings or something. Like if you can partner with a company
you know
that
what's
is
gonna
as
happen?
widespread like that.
The normies would be like,
I
But
just,
it
I
could-
just wanted hot wings.
It could start trending though.
Yeah.
It could start being like, okay,
You know
well,
what's-
we'll keep it in the bar area, or we'll whatever.
2 years ago, I was watching Evo on the TV, and my roommate comes in. He's like, "Oh shit!" He was watching it, and he's like, "Wow, this is." He's a sports guy, basketball and baseball.
Okay.
He's like, "This is legitimately exciting." Like the Street Fighter was going on. He's like, "Wow, this is really cool." Like,
I think I know a way they could start. Like, it may not go straight to bars. Like, I know like UCI is one of the first big universities to take on like a gaming. I don't know if it's a degree or some sort of like course system. If they make it where every university has a spot where you can go and watch your esports, like a stadium or like a lounge or something, and that's where it's like, all right, get it in the campuses, get it in with the kids, and then when they want to go, then they could find like a food court or I don't know.
And like they need to like Twitch has a thing where they gamify you, where they bring in audience participation. Yeah. They need to do something like that with ESPN, where you can interact with. Like
they could probably do something with like how Jackbox is, where it's like type in like if you're at like every bar has like a code. It's like this bar's location, everyone's time, and then they'll be like this region is going for Tokaido.
But this bar won. No, another thing is like something that ESPN has for the normal sports is like if you're watching like World Cup, like obviously they have like the major games and there's smaller games playing in the background, like like this team versus this team. Yeah. And in the bottom it tells you like the score for those other smaller games. That's something they can do, like like this person's ahead between like Daigo and Justin Wong, but the main stage is like Sonic Fox and like someone else, So stuff like that, like just convolute the whole entire window with just like different scores, so I can keep up with everything at the same time.
And then you can have like a catchy like da 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 da
da. And then you can have like the logo come out and it comes out in someone's butt awkwardly because it's just perfect positioning, and
they got to do what the. This is so bad. They got to do what. So when you watch soccer, like the Hispanic channel, what they do is they like just focus on the hot chicks. They need to do that. They don't do that in American channel.
Something I've always focus in on me. I'm just going like arm reload.
Greg Miller, Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider.
But yeah, this is something I always found weird is those Mexican channels always have like the most sexiest.
I think that's really smart.
I mean, it works for them. But I think in today's society we can't do that.
Yeah, I don't think in gaming culture, especially gaming stuff. I don't know.
Right. We get in trouble.
Yeah, that would hurt it.
It would.
The bars could have it because that's on the bars. Like you want to have a Hooters do it. Cool. That was a good topic. All of them. I would say that's the if there was an award show for topics. Oh, I'm kidding.
That would win.
Yeah. Guys, where can people find you?
They can find me at TheFulio365 on Instagram, and then TheFulio on all other social media.
PAX West in 2 weeks at the Last Bosses everywhere.
Damn.
You find me at Kujo Prime. You can find us all at the Weekly DLC, and you'll find us hopefully at PAX.
Yeah.
If we don't cancel our flights. Until next time, we'll
behemoth you
later.
Gotta change it up sometimes.